Hi, my name is Pete and I'm back with another video for my Adventure Asia series. And if you wouldn't mind, please like and subscribe. I'm trying to put out some content regularly. Today I want to talk about income and investing for living abroad. And I'm hardly an expert. I've been, on some trips to Thailand, and I've got a lot of experience in trying to invest over the years. So putting that together with seeing what some other expats have been doing, the good and the bad, and putting it all together and making a video that hopefully will help people out. And in general, I'm going to break things down to two sort of like a separate but dual approaches, which would be one, it would be an income source, and the other would be like an investment income, like from dividends and speculating and so forth. So looking at these separately, let's say we look at the income from wages or your skill or your career, however you want to characterize that. Let's take a closer look at that one, because this will give you a lot of security. If you can get something going before you leave to, say it's Thailand that you're going to, it'd be great if you had that set up and kind of been doing it for a little while, so you feel, is this going to be sustainable? Is there things that I didn't see with this that maybe it's not going to work? So you get a chance to try it out, and I would say several months at least. So, you could do a job that may not support you in the United States, but it may be more than enough to live life in Thailand. So I wouldn't get too discouraged about not finding the super high wage remote position. If you worked at helping people with conversational English online, that might be enough income to live in Thailand. So you have to look into that and see what you can come up with. Looking at some calculations I did, if you were a McDonald's full-time employee, you could make as much money as a doctor in the Philippines. It just shows you the difference in the wages and why I'm really encouraging working remotely from Europe, United States, or where you're coming from, instead of trying to work in the country you're going to. Teaching English in that country, it may pay a lot less than you think. So I would look into it. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, or it's something that you have to think about. Some people just like working in person, and maybe that's something for them. Okay, another thing I wanted to go over would be the other side of the coin, and that's going to be our investments for living overseas. For that, I think we have to break it down into subsections. So the idea I kind of came up with is, if you can live off your wage income, that would be really nice. So that way you can allow your portfolio to grow. So you don't have to constantly be taking money out of your investments to support yourself. So that would be perfect. However, not everyone's going to be able to do that. So I'm looking at an approach here where you can have some income. I think dividend income is probably the most reliable. So you could set up like half of your account with income producing ETFs, for example, like QYLD or JEPI, JEPAX, for example. Those are some high yielding income ETFs based on covered calls or dividends. So these are going to give you monthly, at least the ones I mentioned, will give you monthly dividend income. So it's going to be pretty secure. If you look at those ETFs, you'll notice that they're pretty reliable. over the years. However, they do not have good growth. The growth is going to be subpar compared to the benchmarks. So if you're going to do that, you're going to be basically just getting dividends and sacrificing, like the growth of your portfolio. So I don't think that's such a great idea to have everything just in those types of ETFs. So I'm going to say, maybe do 50% of my portfolio is based in those high yielding ETFs. Now the other 40% and another 10% where I'm going to get into more. But I would do another 40% on either other types of ETFs. You could get more sector ETFs, or you could go with specific stocks that you feel have good growth. I decided to go with stocks that had yield and growth. It was not easy to find those. Let's see, some examples would be like the business development stocks, like Goldman Sachs has one. I think it's GSBD. There's some like mining stocks, like Rio Tinto, that has a pretty good yield. There's some others that are in like banking. So they're hard to find, but there are some in energy too. Like if you want to get into the like MPLX, which is like you start getting into oil and pipelines, stuff like this, which are a little more risky. So anyway, I'm looking at 40% of diversified stocks with high dividends. So that way I'm getting the dividends I like, plus I'm getting some growth, because most of those will grow better than your other, the pure yielding ETFs like QYLD, which has very little growth. Now, I will put, at least I'm going to put 10% of my portfolio in, I would say like speculative plays. And in this I have like some option plays. So you could sell some like cash secured puts. And these are stocks that I want to buy. So I'm not just going to go and do a bunch of naked puts. It's like stuff that you feel has really good potential on growth. You could do like a put, sell a put, and you can get it signed, the stock, if it goes actually against you, or you can actually make money from the selling the put. You could apply that towards the purchase of the stock if you do want to proceed with buying it. You could also set up in that speculative play sector, 10% about, you could set up some protection for your account. You could set up buying puts against a sell-off if you suspect that you're going to have a sell-off coming. You could also do calendar spreads like on SPY. So these are ways that you can generate a little extra income, but it does have more risk. So this is, I would say it's kind of like sandboxed. Like if you can have it where, you don't want to have that risk spilling out into your other, more conservative plays that you have there. So I think that's a kind of a nice way of looking at your investment portfolio if you have about half of it set up for the income. So it's going to be real regular because it's monthly, ETFs. Plus you have your dividends and the growth in that 40%. Plus you got your 10% speculation there, and hopefully you can make some money to add to the growth potential. Again, if you have the income coming in from your job, you can allow that portfolio to really grow. So I feel that it's a really nice way to live abroad with some security if you have both of those. The income from the job plus the income from your portfolio and the growth in the portfolio. So it should sustain yourself, plus looking into the future, you'll be able to build a portfolio for your retirement. And I'm gearing this video mostly towards people who are just starting out, young retire, young people who want to kind of, 45, 50 years old, who want to retire early and get out there a little ahead of time, where you don't have Social Security coming in or any other kind of big pensions. So that's all I just kind of wanted to go over. If you have any thoughts on that, you could, maybe put something in the comments, and I'd love to hear, maybe you have some advice that you could give me. But that's kind of what I'm looking at in my approach so far. And so hope to hear from you. Thank you.